Congress has debated climate change for nearly 30 years with varying results. Laws and congressionally approved funding have led to new programs to reduce emissions and incentives to speed the deployment of clean energy. Other efforts to address climate change more holistically, including by using market-based approaches, have not advanced. Some major milestones on climate in Congress include: 1992, Senate approves UN Framework Convention on Climate Change. The process of designing a global agreement to tackle climate change began in the early 1990s. In 1992, President George H.W. Bush signed the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC, which committed all nations to take action and laid the foundation for future agreements. At the time, President Bush declared, "The United States fully intends to be the world's preeminent leader in protecting the global environment." The U.S. Senate ratified the treaty in October 1992. 1992, renewable energy gets a boost. To help support the fledgling wind industry, Senator Chuck Grassley, REA, added the Renewable Energy Production Tax Credit to the 1992 Energy Policy Act, which has been critical in the rapid expansion of the wind energy industry. The tax credit has been extended in short stints, with occasional lapses, since then. An investment tax credit for solar energy installations was later added to the tax code through the Energy Policy Act of 2005. 1997, Senate preempts Kyoto Protocol. In June 1997, 6 months ahead of a UN climate conference in Kyoto, Japan, the Senate adopted a non-binding resolution introduced by Senator Robert C. Byrd, D.W. Virginia, with Senator Chuck Hagel, Republican Nebraska, and 44 other co-sponsors, stating that the United States should not enter into any international climate agreement that did not include comparable emissions commitments by developing countries or that would result in serious harm to the economy of the United States. The Clinton administration proceeded to negotiate and sign the Kyoto Protocol, which set emission targets for developed countries only. But the agreement was never submitted to the Senate for advice and consent, and in 2001, President George W. Bush declared that the United States would not join it. 2003 to 2007, bipartisan bills in the Senate. By the 108th Congress, 2003 to 2004, significant bipartisan efforts to reduce U.S. greenhouse gas emissions started to gain traction. Among other bills in 2003, Senator John McCain, Republican Arizona, and Senator Joe Lieberman, Democrat Connecticut, offered the Climate Stewardship Act of 2003 to institute a cap-and-trade program to reduce emissions from electricity, manufacturing, commercial, and transportation sectors of the economy, representing 85% of U.S. emissions. The bill had a House companion and was reintroduced in the 109th and 110th Congresses. 2007, Congress mandates emissions reporting. As part of the fiscal year 2008 Consolidated Appropriations Act, signed into law in 2007, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, was ordered to publish a rule requiring public reporting of greenhouse gas emissions from large sources. The Greenhouse Gas Reporting Program database provides comprehensive nationwide greenhouse gas emissions data. Electric power companies were already reporting their carbon dioxide emissions under the Clean Air Act amendments of 1990. Over 40 source categories are now covered by the reporting program. 2008 to 2010, cap-and-trade legislation passes the House. Shortly after being elected, President-elect Barack Obama declared a comprehensive climate and energy bill among his top legislative priorities. The U.S. House of Representatives passed the American Clean Energy and Security Act of 2009 by a vote of 219 to 212 in June 2009. The legislation, written by Reps. Henry Waxman, Democrat California, and Edward Markey, D.Mass., would have established an economy-wide greenhouse gas cap-and-trade system and critical complementary measures. Other major climate legislation was proposed during this period. The American Clean Energy Leadership Act of 2009 would have established a renewable energy standard and addressed several other energy-related issues. John Kerry, D.Mass., Joseph Lieberman, I. Connecticut, and Lindsey Graham, RSC, worked outside of the committee process in an attempt to broaden the base of support for climate legislation within the Senate. Kerry and Lieberman released a draft discussion of their American Power Act in May 2010 that would have established a cap-and-trade system for utilities and industry. and a fee for transportation fuels.